And we are back with another video. Before we hop into this video, make sure you like and subscribe and click that bell to stay notified so that you can know anytime the Adventure Fam puts up new content. So if you are here because you saw our viral TikTok video of us announcing that we moved to Greece, and while we moved to Greece, stay tuned because we are going to be answering all of your questions. We got over 400 and something comments, and at least 200 and something of those were questions. So we wanted to do a video that was just dedicated to answering you guys' questions. And we also want you guys to know that we are in the EU, so we can't give you guys many tips or advice on countries outside of the EU. We can only give you guys as much advice as we know, and we are also still in transition, so we are learning as we go, but we will give you guys as much information as we know. So we just got some more questions right now, so I'll just go ahead and start with this one because this is the question that everyone wants to know. Wondering what you and your partner do for work, and do you have to change your career to move out of the country?
I work in IT. I work for an IT firm, and we went full remote during COVID and decided to not actually get an office going forward. So yeah, I was like, well, if I'm just going to be working remote anyway, why not work remote in Greece or work remote anywhere else? There's no ties to me having to stay, or even reason for me to have to stay in the US or even where we were living at the time. And you definitely don't need to, particularly for my career, you definitely don't need to change it because no matter where you go, there's going to be a need for IT. Even if you go, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be a need for IT in some capacity.
What I will say is if you are working fully remote, which is what we suggest to people who are trying to transition out of the country, we do suggest that you try to go to a place that has strong Wi-Fi, which is why we chose to come here first versus going to Africa, just because we still need to make a way of living. We still need to make money so that we can like fully transition and fund our lifestyle until we are able to make the type of funds that will require us to have any sort of work in the US. Also, something to note is we are not trying to get a full citizenship here and relinquish our United States citizenship. Because Greece is not our last stop, we are trying to get an extended residency here, which only requires a visa. There are 8 different types of visas that you can get specifically for Greece, and you all will have to go in and see which one of those 8 visas applies to you and best fits the kind of situation and living situation that you want. For us, so if you're like us and you do not plan to relinquish your United States citizenship right away, we would still recommend that you try to find a remote position doing something that you like that can fund your transition and pay for the type of lifestyle that you want. Now, if you do want to relinquish your citizenship and you're interested in getting a citizenship overall elsewhere, I would say that you do try to look for work in that country. When it comes to that though, please note that if you're in a country like this where the cost of living is like really a lot lower than it is in the US, the cost of living and how much you're going to be making is going to be even. It's going to be even with where you're living. So if you're making salary here is between $16,000 and $19,000, and that lines up with the cost of living because it's an inexpensive place for us, something to consider. In terms of the job opportunities here in Greece, we've seen
a lot of need for tutors.
Yeah, a lot of need for English tutors for the elderly. They included teaching English into the Grecian school system in the 80s. So the people who were born before the 80s may not know English. That's why a lot of the elderly people out here, they only speak Greek. So yeah, so they also there are black people out here, so I'm sure hair braiders, that's a niche market that
we have seen
is open.
Several actual Grecian women with individual braids,
like knotless braids. We all know how that's trending in all our communities, wherever you go. There's lots of colleges here, so if you do have your degree in education, you could look into getting a job in education. There's also the opportunity for like wait staff jobs because people like having waiters and those things that speak English. So there are job opportunities out here. It really just depends on how you want your life to look and if you are interested in getting a job. Oh yeah. And in terms of what I do, I'm an entrepreneur and an artist. So that's what we're trying to get, is we're trying to get an artist group visa, which is one of the visas that they offer. And hopefully, I said this in the last video because we
already recorded this one.
We already recorded this, and it got corrupted. But the hope is for my art career to retire us both. So this is a long-term move for my art career to both gain exposure, and so far it's working. And I also have several online businesses. If you do want to support our family, you can support our online businesses in the description box below. Do you know if this works well for retirees?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, baby.
One of the Facebook groups I joined, a lady said she literally, when she retired, she just sold her house and moved here. And I know that with the amount of money you get for selling a house in the U.S., you can definitely move here and be just fine with your retirement money. Plus, you know, they do pensions and 401ks and that sort of stuff. So the money that you have coming in would definitely be enough to sustain you while you live in Greece.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do have a retirement fund already, because the cost of living is so low here, I'm pretty sure you can sustain yourself here. When it comes to us, we're going to talk about the cost of living for us specifically a little bit later, but we're spending like $300 a month on food. We're spending less than $1,000 on housing, so it is possible. I think you should budget and do the research, but it's pretty, you can kind of cut your average, you cut your average grocery costs and housing costs in half when you make a relocation to the type of country like Greece. Do you guys ever get lonely? And do you guys ever get lonely, or have you met other Black people in Greece?
So no, we don't get lonely at all. We have each other. We're like each
and we have two kids under 2, y'all. That's a lot. It's a lot of action happening here.
Right.
So we don't get lonely. We spend a lot of time with them, even though they're so small. They both have really big, beautiful personalities, and we talk to our family often. So I literally dedicate at least 2 hours of my everyday talking to my mother. When we're not home working, we're out and about. So yeah, we don't get lonely. We're pretty much filling up our time, and we don't really have much downtime.
We don't really watch TV.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Well, we don't watch TV.
Like Sunny's having TV time right now, but that's just to keep her busy because we're doing this video. But because she only gets a certain amount of TV time, this really does occupy her. You know, we'll let you guys know in a few months if that changes.
I doubt it changes. We also have seen other Black people in Greece, like plenty of
both Black Grecians and other Black people that just have migrated here. But there is a large Black population in Greece, larger than we thought, because we've been here before and
we barely saw any, but this time
we saw a lot.
Like we're not necessarily looking for Black friends. I mean, we're just looking
for friends.
So.
We're looking for Grecian friends.
Right.
You know, we're looking for friends of all walks of life, but we do want to meet some like Grecian
locals
friends
and natives.
Yeah.
So that, you know, I feel like knowing somebody from there just helps your transition a lot easier.
So what was the deciding factor for Greece?
Honestly, when we came here 5 years ago, we fell in love with the place. And even when we decided to come, it was just on a whim. Just like we were trying to I had never been abroad, and Ree was like, well, we should definitely go somewhere. And we were trying to figure out a place, and I was just like, why not Greece? Like, why not?
We made a list of places, and Greece ended up being one of the most cost-effective places for us to travel to at that point where we were in our lives financially. And so we kind of just took a leap. I was also interested in taking some courses out here, and so it just kind of lined up. But when we came here, we fell in love with the food, the people, the culture. The weather is beautiful. They have some of the most beautiful beaches, and we haven't even scraped the surface for the beaches. We do plan on exploring more while we're here. It's one of the safest places in the world, which was a priority to us given that we really made the absolute choice to move after the George Floyd situation and the Sandra Bland situation, which really, I think those two situations struck a chord with us specifically because that literally could have been us. You know, their demographics were like very similar to ours, and yeah. But it's one of the most beautiful places, one of the safest places. We feel very welcomed here, and overall we've had a good experience every time we've been here, so we chose that. We chose Greece because of those reasons. Somebody says, why does Greece not have Amazon? Greece does have Amazon.
They don't have
Amazon Prime. So if you watch the video and you hear the part where I'm like, oh, well, they don't have Amazon Prime, I was specific about saying Prime because of the convenience factor. You know, we're in the United States, everything is fast.
And I really appreciate the fact that Europe does not focus on hyper-consumerism, because in the US, that has definitely polluted the way that I think about a lot of things, and like just how I would be like, oh, it's not on Amazon Prime, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, that's just because I don't want to wait. I want it now. Even though I could go to the store and get it right now, I can spend a little bit less money and get it on Amazon Prime in 2 days and wait for it.
Right.
And I just feel like I appreciate that you can't hyper consume here. Like you have to, it takes time for things to happen, and I feel like that slows down your life. Like you don't feel like everything is always
at the tip of your, and like you're more likely to not explore. I know we spent a lot more time in the house when we were home versus now that we're here, and I think that's because we really could get everything at our fingertips, and now we do have to like go to the market, go out and explore, you know, go see what's out there.
Also say like every place that we have been is damn near a mom and pop shop. Every place that is out here.
And it's nice seeing family-owned businesses that are not being bought out and gentrified and pushed out. And you know, that's one of our things. We are not here to move like a colonizer. We're not here, you know.
We're definitely very much doing our best we can to assimilate into Christian culture.
And we don't want to impose our lifestyle on anyone here in Greece. We're trying to learn their lifestyle. We're trying to appreciate the culture because it's different from ours. So yeah, we enjoy shopping locally and contributing to economy because the environment is contributing to our peace of mind. So another question was, and this is gonna tap into the convenience part of it. Why did you guys choose to go to Athens of all places, and what were your other options? So we chose Athens because of the access to these things. And when you're on the island, there is no buses or trains, or I can't say there is no, because some of the islands do have a bus system, but here it's kind of, it's giving
it's the mainland, so you get a lot more access to things via transit, like public transit.
Also, there's a lot of monuments here. There's lots of things to see. There's lots of things to do. We have 2 little girls, so you know, we do plan on going to the zoo, and we do plan on doing those activities, and that's kind of all here in Athens. The food is easily accessible. I mean, the cost of the fee to drop off the food to us if we do order through an app, it's no fee, or it's like a 50-cent fee, a 75-cent fee. Like, you know, we definitely love having access to those things. What were our other options? So we
looked into Crete, we looked into Mykonos, we looked into several other islands.
We looked into Corfu. We just looked into some other islands, but ultimately, because it is vacation season, the lowest cost of housing was in Athens.
Yes.
And we also have looked into other countries because, like we told you guys before, Greece is not our last stop. So we chose here because it was going to be the easiest in terms of how far our dollar can go here and in terms of transitioning. So
also, when you're over here already, it's easier. And by over here, I mean in Europe, any country in Europe, it's already easier and more cost effective to go anywhere else. So like, if we wanted to go to Madrid, it'll cost us like $200. But if we wanted to do that from the US, it's going to cost us like $1,200. So no, don't quote me on the price exactly. I'm just saying, you know, that's kind of like the difference in travel that you look at once you're finally in Europe versus flying to Europe.
Yes, and our last host told us a little bit about that, how she goes to Spain to vacation, and she would never travel to the U.S. to vacation.
First of all, she said it was too expensive.
Yeah.
Like, just being there is too expensive, and it's just easier for her to just go to Spain for the weekend versus coming to the U.S.
And it's only a few hours away here, so we like that. We like being able to jump, skip, and hop from country to country and know that we're not breaking the bank just to have a good traveling experience. Someone else says, how much did you need to be approved for in savings to go? Okay, so each visa has a different financial requirement, but none of them technically require you to have like
a certain amount of money.
Yeah, a certain amount of money all at once. What's really required from you is that you're able to kind of pay for your housing costs and whatever the cost is for you to be able to survive here. They don't want you to move here and not have housing situated and then end up homeless in another country. So you, in order to do a long-term stay like what we're doing right now, you have to already have your housing and all that booked so that you can show it to them when you're going through customs to even enter into here. So you can't just come here and, you know, not have your housing paid for. Also, we used Airbnb for our housing because we did not want to pay for furniture. We didn't want to do any of that stuff. We just wanted to have it all Wi-Fi. We didn't want to go searching what Wi-Fi works best for them, excuse me, and all that stuff. So we went through Airbnb, and it's a similar processes and how they want you to pay for it. So you would pay for the first month's rent in full, and then you would pay a portion of your second month's rent, and then you would pay the remainder of the second month's rent at the end of the month. Okay, so like you pay for $1,000 for the first month, and then you pay $200 for your next month to kind of reserve the next month, and then at the end of the month is when you would pay the remainder, the other $800. But each visa is different. I know if you're a student, they want you to be making at least 400 EU a month, plus whatever your housing costs are. So you have to go in and see which visa applies to you and the kind of lifestyle that you want, and then you have to follow you know,
the rules to get it.
Mm-hmm. How did you do this process? So first we visited.
Always visit first.
Yes.
Don't just like go somewhere and just think this is gonna be it. You're gonna go here. You need to visit first, get a vibe for the culture, understand that the culture, like their culture may not be meshed well with you and what you're looking for. And you just need to experience a place first before you decide to make a transition there.
Yeah, you definitely have to make sure that whatever country you're going into, you're going to be able to adjust. If the culture is not something that you feel like you're going to be able to adjust into, then that's not the country for you, and you should explore your other options. I also would say don't rush. You know, we're doing long-term stays until we figure out exactly where we want to be, how long we want to be there.
Also, you need to be sure that you like the food there, because
oh yeah, food was a huge factor. Did I say food? In terms of why we chose Greece, food was a huge factor.
Yeah.
We had to have seasoned food, and I've been to countries where I did not like the food, so that was a huge deciding factor in the first country that we decided to settle in for a long time. After we visited, then we got then I gave birth a few times, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that in the country so that you know, I knew what the process was gonna be like and all that jazz. But I really wish that I would have just ended up moving before I ended up having Luna. I was pretty happy with my birthing process with my firstborn, but with my secondborn, it was not only a bit tumultuous, but the insurance company made a bunch of changes, and my midwife ended up getting COVID 3 times because she ended up delivering babies for mothers who had COVID, and I wasn't able to see her anymore. And the cost of how much they were trying to charge me in order to be seen in my last 2 weeks of being pregnant was absolutely ridiculous.
For us to even be in the last 2 weeks.
Right, I could have came here, I could have came to Greece and had her at home since she was already in unassisted natural birth. And what I paid, right, he literally caught the baby, y'all. But what I ended up paying for her birth, or what we have to pay for her birth, is what I could have paid a midwife here, honestly half that, to have the kind of birth that I envisioned for myself. So ultimately, yeah, after that we had our kids, we planned, we got their passports, we made sure we did all the research about the visas and the type of documentation that we would need to come here for a longer stay. And I also want to let you guys know that if you are here for 90 days or less, you do not have to get a visa to go to the countries in the EU. I can't tell you about other countries, but you don't have to have a visa to go from the United States into a country that's in the EU.
And they just changed it right before we left that you don't have to show proof of
vaccinations or a negative PCR test. They even the mask. They were like, if you want to wear a mask, you can. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to.
We got to what was it?
Denmark.
They were very much the lady at the customs was like, you don't even have to wear a mask if you don't want to.
I love your locks. Were you able to find a loctician there? So I do my own lock maintenance and I do my own hair, but like we were saying before, the girlies out here really are into, but like I was saying, guys, yeah, the girls here, they do wear the knotless braids, and there are a lot of people with locks. So if you do hair, there might be a market for you here. I mean, I feel like there's definitely a market for you here. There's a lot of students here. There's a lot of universities here. And I definitely feel like you can make some money if that's what you're into. What about school for your children? What options do you have in Greece? And what grade do they start school? So I know that you can get your child into daycare here as early as 2 years old, which is a lot different in the US because I think most daycares want your child to be potty trained before they go to daycare. But you can get your child into daycare here as early as 2 years old. However, we do plan to homeschool. We made that plan when we were in the US though, because we didn't want our kids to be in the United States like school system.
Public school system.
And I'm not about to pay for private school.
Granted, we got public school education. And we made it as far as we did, but I could visibly see a difference in the things that my baby sister, I call her my baby sister, but she's like 21, 22 now. Well, what year is it? 2022? She'll be 22 this year. So I see noticeable differences in the things that I've learned and the things that she learned. And there are things that I would bring up that they never taught her. And it's just like, how were you never taught this? Or they're still clinging on to teaching things a certain way. Like how everybody is very well aware that Columbus didn't discover America. Like we all know that. Like,
and they're still very much teaching that.
Like in the capacity that there's a Columbus Day and all that sort of stuff, when really he came here and committed genocide against an entire people.
And I would like my children to learn
and it's
some
like,
Black history that does not start with slavery.
And it's not just Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and because they don't even teach Malcolm X.
Right.
And it's because
they demonize Malcolm X.
And we all know why. Like, we know the reason behind the way they educate in the ways that they do. Like, and yeah, so we just knew it would be better for us to just, because we know that we're going to tell our kids the truth. It doesn't, whether it hurts or not.
And we want our views to align with their education.
Right.
Ultimately. We want what we believe to be being taught to our children, and if we have to take on their education firsthand, which is what we plan on doing, then we'll do that to make sure that our kids don't come home we have to unteach them what they just learned at school.
And even we didn't want to, it was never we just got our 2 kids and we're homeschooling. It was always going to be a community thing where it was several families involved, and
especially because our other friends also envision their lives being out of the U.S. full time, and so we are currently creating an education system that best fits the lifestyle that we want to have for ourselves. We also want our kids to learn from the world itself. So, you know, we're planning on doing trips and, you know, educational activities.
Greece, you can firsthand show them the things that the Greeks accomplished within their own world. Within, because like that, this is
like world history. I feel like other places and other countries, they always know another language, but we don't prioritize that in America. I mean, we all take Spanish, but none of us know how to speak Spanish fluently because of the education that we received. So
it should have been required, because we're literally adjacent to the other language is Spanish. Like literally the whole South America. I mean, you got Portuguese and stuff, but still Spanish.
And someone else asked about the educational industry, like what educational industry do they offer in Greece? And I think Taman took that as like the workforce, whereas I took that more as like, well, you know, what kind of activities are they going to be in? They don't really have much in Greece. Our children are going to be able to learn another language here. They are going to be able to take the piano lessons that we want for them to be able to take here.
They even have nannies that take them places, like to museums and to parks and to all these other things. And,
for rates that we can afford.
And like, you have to realize, like, kids can't just sit in the classroom all day and learn stuff. That's not how children learn. That's
another thing. We don't want our kids to be in school from 9 to 5. We're not preparing them for
work,
a 9 to 5 job, so we don't want them to just be sitting down in school all day. I know that the Finnish people, or was it Danish?
I think it's the Finnish.
I think the Finnish people, they only require school 4 hours for 4 hours a day, and they have the #1 educational system in the world. And so we want to align ourselves with other countries that have really succeeded in teaching their children.
They did the research, saw what worked, and applied it. Versus, honestly, the way things work in America, like, they'll do the research, they'll have all the information in front of them, they'll have everything they need to make the changes. They're like, nope, I'm not gonna make the change because it's working the way that it is, and it's not.
And they did compare their own system to the United States educational system and decided that they had too many things in common with the United States educational system. They made homework obsolete. They made being in class all day obsolete. They made classes indoors only obsolete. And so that's the kind of things that, you know, we want in for our kids. The next question is, do you know if this type of lifestyle will work for a retiree? We absolutely think that this type of lifestyle will work for a retiree, especially if you have a retirement fund, if you have a pension, a 401k, and you have savings. I think you can live a pretty cushy life here, depending on the type of lifestyle that you want to live. That's the thing, guys. We all envision different ways of life for ourselves, so you really have to sit down and be like, man, do I want to live in a penthouse for $3,000 a month? Or am I trying to live, you know, in a beautiful big space, but it doesn't have to be as modern for $700 a month? It really just depends on what type of life you want to live, but I absolutely think that Greece is a great location. It's a city-like feel, but it's also a little bit slower than a typical city, and I think that that's great for people who are trying to retire. Did they force you to vaccinate? And are you able to work there and earn a living, or do you have to have money to live before going? I think you should have a little bit of money put aside before you move to another country.
Like, you don't know. Like, the other thing is, granted, things are a lot more cost effective here, but you don't want to be like, oh, this is only this price and it's very cheap, and then you just burn through your money because you still have to be fiscally responsible. At the end of the day, you still need to
you should. I feel like you should never just go to a country with no savings. Now, I don't think you need $10,000 to move.
Right.
But I do think that you should have some funds put aside so that just in case anything happens, you should at least be able to afford a flight back home if anything should happen and you do need to go back to your home country. So no, they did not force us to
now
vaccinate.
literally right before we left, they lifted the vaccine restrictions. But I mean, honestly,
get vaccinated for you if that's something that you want to do for yourself.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, protect yourself to the full. Like, if
COVID is making a huge comeback.
Huge. Like, literally, everybody at my job who have not all been together have all had COVID within this past week of this video being recorded. So definitely just protect yourself. At every point in life, protect yourself when you need to.
My husband and I are looking into getting the golden visa. What kind of visa do you need? So for the golden visa, you need $250,000 to get an immediate, citizenship. But there are other types of visas that don't require that. For us, we're getting the artist group visa, which would let us stay here for up to a year versus 90 to 180 days. And you only need to be able to afford your cost of living versus having to have $200,000 and $50,000 cash. But every visa has different requirements. It really just depends on what you want to do. Do you sell your art for a living? Yes. And if you want to go ahead and buy some art, you can do that on HuddleHill.com.
Link is below.
We need to talk about racism. So somebody said, what about the young black man that got beat to death by the white guy in Greece? So
first of all, was the white guy Greek?
Yes, he was Grecian.
Okay. So we should all be aware as black people that there is anti-blackness worldwide. Like, that's just what it is. And then by that we mean that you'll find somebody somewhere, anywhere that will have something against, not even necessarily black people, but just against somebody because of how they look.
I think for us, it was the fact that 50% of the people in the United States condone racism versus going to a country where they do not encourage,
and they ostracize the people who are racist.
Correct. But you can find racism, you can find racists anywhere. However, and that's one situation compared to thousands and thousands and thousands of cases that we can show you guys.
Ago that this guy's bringing up, whereas we can literally, I can take my phone right now and Google and tell you
a black man who's been killed today. You know, who's been harassed today, who's been jailed unlawfully today, who can't get out of jail because of the horrific laws in the US, who is stuck in a situation and has been, you know, stalked because people are so racist in the US. So for us, it was the extremes of.
And even a Greek girl, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, baby, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even a Greek girl commented and was like, no black person has
ever been shot. And that really makes you look at a different perspective. No black person has ever been shot in Greece.
Because they were black.
Right, because they were black.
Also, Grecian people stare. Yeah. Like, that is their
cultural difference.
And a lot of the people like who comment like Greece is mad racist and this and that about racism is because of the staring.
And just to close out the racism sector of this video, this girl commented under my video, and I feel like she said something that encompasses exactly how I feel about the United States racism versus racism abroad and, you know, elsewhere. She said, anti-blackness is worldwide, but it's about how aggressively it's demonstrated and accepted / normalized wherever you go. Exactly. That's how we feel.
And it's very much normalized in America. Like, a lot of the posts are very much like Greece is, I heard Greece is so racist, you moved to a super racist country. I'm like, we moved from America. You're still in America, as in you're still in like a super freaking racist place. Right. Super racist, to where this is so ingrained that it has become culture, like for America. It definitely 100% has.
And it's culture for us as black people to kind of accept it.
Yeah, and just
to code switch and to, you know, do things to appease the average white person.
Can you speak Greek?
That's funny because someone just commented under our post, assuming that we could speak no Greek.
Yes, we are learning to speak Greek. We're obviously early learners, so I mean,
we know enough to communicate. We know enough for pleasantries,
to ask for things, how to ask for certain things, like basic things.
Yeah, we know enough to get around. Also, though, Yeah, most people speak both English and Greek, so
yep. And when we speak Greek, they correct us.
And so, we love that. You know, we're trying to
we're assimilating into their culture. So we absolutely are doing our best to learn Greek as fast as we can, so we'll be able to communicate effectively.
And we'd recommend that wherever you're moving, you try to learn a little bit of the language and how they greet each other.
Cost of living. The cost of living here is wonderful, especially for how we use our American dollars here. I love the fact that I can take my American dollars here and make it stretch 3-4 times as far as I can in America. And I'm helping because we only shop mom and pop shops because Bailey, there are only mom and pop shops. So I love being able to support the communities that we live in as well. There's this particular bakery that we go to every single day. And we get coffee there, and we get food there, like, you know, like morning, like, kind of things.
You can kind of compare the cost to your own stuff by us giving you the cost of things now. Like, for instance, coffee for us in the morning, for both of us to get coffee, a cappuccino is $3.
€3.
It's what you guys would consider a medium.
And it's all there, everything is from here, and I love that. Like a liter of fruit juice, it literally says oranges from this part of Greece, and it says lemons from this part of Greece. And
it also expires very soon, and that's not a bad thing. That means that your food and stuff is fresh, and because it's not made to have a long shelf life. Also, we just figured out what one means, which is buy one get one, basically.
And so a lot of the food ordering apps, which not only can you order food there, it's essentially Instacart, Uber Eats, and Grubhub all mashed in together into one, and they deliver everything, liquor, whatever you want. And depending on how far you are from the place, depends on what your delivery fee is. And
which I find to be very moderate. So if you're coming from the US, that's something that you're kind of used to having.
The other night we were up pretty late. I was working, and we were both like, we just want something, and we ordered these fire dope,
the best, honestly, best donuts I've ever had in my life.
Yes, we're gonna put a picture right
here.
And those were amazing. Like, and we just ordered on app. It was 2 a.m. and we got some freaking donuts and ice cream. So
quality food, convenient hours, great price. I mean, you really can't beat it in terms of cost.
I guess if you want to know price ranges, the kind of apartment that we're in right now, if you're in Georgia, you spend $1,100 to $1,400 for. You cannot spend
$1,100 on an apartment like this right now.
In Georgia?
No, you're definitely thinking of like
maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. For an apartment like this in Georgia, you're spending like $1,650 to $2,000.
Sheesh.
We have a 2-bedroom apartment with an open office, a wraparound balcony, a dining room, and a kitchen.
About all the other amenities.
Yeah, we have a washer, we have ample shelf space, walking space for our kids, newly renovated bathroom, a modern shower, and we have hot water access because not everywhere does offer hot water in the apartments, but that's if you go a little further up into the mountains. We're in the city, so that's like getting an apartment near
honestly, it's like getting an apartment in Atlanta, or getting an apartment in New York.
So we're centrally located. We have buses near us, trains near us. I mean, the city center is only a $4 Uber ride away. We're centrally located. You're not going to get that in the US for anything less than $1,600.
What? $719,
and then we paid the extra $100 because we wanted it thoroughly clean. Like, I wanted it dusted and everything before the kids got here, and it's also fully furnished. So I mean, you can't get prices like that in the US. So in terms of cost of living, I mean, honestly, you can't beat it.
Right.
What's the next question, baby?
Sorry. What did you bring with you?
Okay, so we bought a suitcase full of clothes, and then we bought another suitcase with the toys for the kids, books, diapers, wipes. We
stocked up on a lot of that stuff because we didn't know what the scene would be like
when we got here, and we needed to be able to find those things first. So we wanted to make sure we had adequate diapers, wipes, and those things before we got here. We brought another bag full of technology.
We bought our laptops. So when she says bag of technology, our laptops, our camera. I brought my Quest 2, so I'll let you boy on the Oculus if you're trying to do some VR gaming, and I brought my Switch as well. So definitely have something to keep myself occupied.
And then we brought a small suitcase for the girls' clothes because they're both so tiny that all the clothes are so small. I bought I think 65 outfits for them to wear, and that's more than enough, and they're going to grow out of all that before we even get back. So we'll probably end up donating a lot of their clothes while we're here.
And we brought our double stroller.
Yeah, and we brought our double stroller, and that's about it. We left everything else.
And our double stroller, just so you have an idea, it's not width-wise, it's double.
It's a compact,
so
long way
it's very
stroller.
much, almost if you have like a regular, what is it called, like baby's first kind of stroller where it just folds up. It's pretty much that exact same thing, just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Do they require proof of employment for housing?
Kind of. It really depends on the kind of visa that you get. It depends on the kind of visa that you have. Because if you're trying to do a long-term stay, more than 90 days, they are going to want to know that you are able to pay for your stuff. So if you're here on an employment visa, they want proof of employment, and they want a contract or something, whatever your working contract is. If you're here for sports, they want to know that you can cover your housing every month. If you're here on a student visa, they want to know that your student fees can be paid plus 400 euros. That you can make 400 euros to, you know, I guess feed yourself. It really depends on the visa that you get.
The next one was, how easy was it to find a home in your price range?
It was really easy. I mean, our price range was $600 to $1,000, and there's a plethora of options that give us the kind of space that we want. I really have tried to find 2 bedrooms if possible. So yeah, it was pretty easy for us to find housing in our price range.
Is the fruit and fresh food easy to find, better quality? Yes to both questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of marketplaces all over, walking distance. I mean, you can find your favorite marketplace and take a bus, but there's lots of places to get fresh food.
And this also speaks to the hyper-consumerism of America, because people want oranges all the time. People want this thing year-round. People want that year-round. Because of that, it messes up the quality of the fruits and foods that you get, or fresh foods, because it's being grown in... And honestly, it'll be grown in Ecuador. Yeah. It has to make it from Ecuador to your shelf, which our shelves are in Georgia, any of the other places, and it takes so long to get there.
Yeah.
Which
means they have to pump it up with pesticides and preservatives so it can make the journey and last on the shelf. So. And
I love that all fruit and vegetable get love.
Yeah.
No matter what they look like. So we got some, like Reese said earlier, I don't know if it was this one or the other video, like the brown spots on the oranges, like the weird looking shaped fruit, all that still goes on the shelf and still gets eaten.
Versus in the US where it gets thrown away because it doesn't look.
It gets thrown away and then doesn't, and like to be thrown away, not thrown away as in given to someone. Like here, they very much give the stuff that they don't want to the people, like homeless people or people in need. Do you cook or do you eat out every day? We eat out every day. But we are gonna cook when we get to the next location. So I think I said it in the last video, but we are still trying to figure out where we want to settle, where we want to be. So we are here at currently in the, I looked it up, it's the Polygono Athens area, but we are going to another area, and we will also do an apartment tour and let you guys see the neighborhood and let you guys know of our experience in the area. It won't be in Athens though. Yeah, and I really miss, I'm gonna miss the coffee shop. I'm gonna miss all the local pleasantries that we have here, but yeah, I'm also excited to see a new area. Yeah, because we go to that coffee shop every day, we've definitely built a rapport with the people there, and you know. Yeah. How do the citizens treat your family?
Well, they love our family. Especially the kids.
Like we said earlier, I don't know if it was this video or the last one, but the Greeks are very hospitable. Like very much so. Very much like, I was in the coffee shop the other day and this old lady walked in, and I'm holding Sunny, and she literally takes her mask off to like blow kisses at Sunny. Very much trying to get her to smile and all kinds of stuff. So I've not felt any type of way whatsoever. And then once you understand, they stare as a cultural thing. Like once you understand that, you just get over it. Like,
and you don't take it personally. Yeah. And a lot of the time people stare at us even more now because of the kids and because I wear like a harness, which is not something that's common here for the little baby. So I think they find that interesting, and I think we just look different. I think they definitely know that we're not from here, but I mean it's fine, and we get treated great. We get great customer service. People usually try to speak to us in English, even if English is not, if they don't know the best English. The taxi drivers definitely recommend stuff for us to do, the best places for us to go. And they're always just really nice to us. We haven't had any negative experiences so far. You know, it is our first month here, but you know, we'll keep you guys.
Is abortion legal?
It is abortion. It is abortion.
Yes, it is very much legal. They even give you leave after you take it, and it is also free.
Yeah, it's covered under the EU healthcare.
How long have we been here? We have been here for almost a month now. Maybe like three weeks, going into our 4th week, I guess. We're already started into our fourth week.
And it kind of already feels like we've settled. I mean, we're doing everyday stuff, working from home, getting breakfast, doing lunch with the kids, nap time, spending some time outside, eating dinner. So it's pretty much the same thing we're doing in US, just a little less stressful.
What is the language? The language is Greek. One thing I love about the Greek language, the word structure, the sentence structure is the exact same as English. So like if there is a word, so if I say, I guess if you were to compare it to Spanish, how when you describe something in Spanish, you say it after you say the noun, then you say the adjective. Here it's just like English where you say it the exact same way. So like, this is a man is just the same as girl. I was gonna say it, but I'm not trying to embarrass myself right now. I have to think really hard, but yeah. Okay. What should we do first if we want to move? Research. Research how much money it's going to take to get there. Research how much money it's going to cost to live there, as far as your housing, your food, and all that. And then most importantly, I would say out of all that, research the culture of the area, so that you don't be offended by everyday common things that happen in their country.
That are just different than what you're used to.
And we always go back to the staring, because in America, we looking like you got a problem, you staring at me mad hard. But here it's just, I see you.
Yeah.
Like, have you found a pediatrician?
So we have let our pediatrician in the United States know that we plan to be in another country for 6 to 9 months out of the year, and so she has lined it up, which we have an amazing pediatrician. Shout out to Dr. Hernandez. She lines up the girls' vaccinations and anything they need and make sure that they have adequate checkups with the months that we'll be gone. So if we're going to be visiting home for family, then we'll go get the girls appointments for family, and she does that ahead of time for us, which we really appreciate. But when we finally get our Grecian residency, the healthcare will be included and paid for, and so we will no longer have to do that. Also, when you have a residency and a citizenship, understand that those are two different things. When you have a residency and a citizenship, you're contributing to the country. Because if you have a residency, but you're only ordering from Amazon, you're not buying things from here, you will not qualify for healthcare with everything included. Not her laughing in there.
I love that Greek is very much like you have to participate. Because one thing I dislike about America, and it's just a simple fact that like it's happening right now. People and corporations overseas, China, other places, are literally buying up property and they're not even here.
And the Chinese has even bought up most of Jamaica.
And they own it. It belongs to them. Whereas here, you have to contribute in some capacity to society and the economy
to own anything.
You can start to own anything.
To become a citizen here, they have to make sure that you are here to contribute to the country, and we appreciate that because it helps keep people with a colonizer mentality out of these countries that are prioritizing family and local owned or family owned businesses and things of that nature.
But when you have unfettered capitalism, people will buy everything before you get the opportunity to.
Another thing to note is Grecians are extremely healthy because of their diet. They consume a lot of olive oil, a lot of red wine, and something else that they said, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, but there's one other component to their diet, and so they they live very long lives. What takes them out is the smoking. A lot of Grecians smoke. A lot of Grecians. So if they do have any health situations, it's smoking related. But they have the lowest rates of heart disease, and they have one of the best healthcare systems in the world.
A few things too about that, like for example, the juice, right? If you go buy you a bottle of juice, like actual juice, and you look at the ingredients, it won't say sugar. It'll say high fructose corn syrup, or it'll say some other dextrose, maltose, any kind of not necessarily man-made, but definitely manufactured sweeteners. Here it says sugar, because they just put sugar in there. And there's been research and shown that the Mediterranean diet helps with depression. Like having a Mediterranean diet is because of all the stuff that is included within the vegetables, the colorless, the different colors and stuff that you see with it.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. Our kids are, we've been recording this for a little while now, so our kids are losing their patience. Almost done, you guys.
Then last but not least, can you talk about the healthcare in Greece? We kind of were speaking on this, but like Reese said, like, they're one of the best healthcare systems in the world. They literally have one of the best dentists in the world located in Crete. And one thing that I love about here is that all the prices of whatever procedure you're going to get is listed on their website. You can go look at prices. You can't do that in America. Like, it's only after the fact and after the insurance has to do what they do and all this other stuff before you end up paying your arm and leg to get your service.
Also, if you are visiting here on a visa and you do have something happen where you need emergency care, they will service you. They're not going to turn you away because you don't have health insurance, and they try to give you, if you're here on a visa, especially if it's an extended visa, they try to give you low cost healthcare, and they even will send you a bill so that you can then ask for some sort of reimbursement, like from your insurance. So they do try to make it as covered as possible, whether you're on visa, whether you're a permanent resident, or whether you're a citizen. Did you find a place before you got there? So you cannot come here long term, even for the 90-day period, without having a place already booked. You have to have a place already booked in order to do a long stay here. So the answer to your question is yes. We went through Airbnb to find our specific housing. That is if you want it furnished and you want all the utilities and stuff included. You can go through Airbnb. Airbnb, know that it's going to be higher during the summertime. So if you are coming for summer, I would recommend that you book your housing early, because you can find amazing, extremely affordable housing for as low as $25 to $30 a day in a 2 to 3 bedroom bomb apartment if you book it early. So yes, book early. Otherwise, you can find a really nice place in the summertime for $1,000 to $1,500 for a decked out, beautiful place.
Which is already more than what we pay at home before we pay. That's how much we pay at home.
Just for the rent.
Just for the rent, not even the utilities and all that.
Are you guys renting, or did you buy a place? Would you buy a place? What is the process? Like we said, we used Airbnb to rent. We are renters. We are interested in buying, but you can't just buy something here.
I love that.
You have to
work through the family.
Yeah, you have to work through the family that owns the property. You have to have a citizenship here or a residency here. You have to have like permits, checks and balances to rent or buy. Last question is, do we offer weekly updates on our vlog? Yes.
Yes, we do.
Make sure you guys
follow,
subscribe,
ring that bell,
and keep up with us so you can stay notified. We're gonna take you guys through the whole journey, everything. Like even when we even when we go back and we're like talking to our families about, not coming back as often as they're used to and things like that, and even getting our family set up and in the position to get them to be able to visit us. We're going to take you guys through all that. We're going to take you guys with us. We may not show the kids all the time on the vlogs, but we will show things that we're using to help them in the transition, all those things as well.
And our parents were very much on the fence about all this, but once we're
kind of proving to them
and got here, they're kind of like, well, I really can't wait to come visit y'all.
And we're happy, and that's what our family, that's what they want. They want us to be happy, and so this is making us very happy. They can see the glow. They can see that we're less stressed, and for them, it's like, wow, like we're proving to them that this is something that could work. This is something that maybe even they want to explore. So yeah, we're gonna take you guys through the whole journey. Make sure you guys follow, like, and subscribe, and y'all do not be afraid to do anything that you want to do. If you are a single traveler, if you are a couple traveling, if you are a new parent, Luna is 3 months old. Okay, she turned 3 months while we were here. So we did this whole transition when she was 2 months old. And we have a 1-year-old who's gonna be 2 in a few months. We are a regular couple, hard-working, ambitious couple who want better for our family, but we are not millionaires. So don't think that you have to be making tens of thousands of dollars to make this work. Okay? Our cost of living here is less than $1,500 a month for our living expenses, food, all things to keep us alive and well. And fun stuff, because that also includes our taxis and all the things that we need to get around.
And spending the obviously when you go to the beach you spend more money.
I encourage you guys to go for the dream, go for your dreams, to not put limits on yourself, to plan and research accordingly for whatever you want, because you can do it.
And if you go to, and with that, if you go to someone else's country, please understand their culture, understand how they operate, because it will be easier on you when certain things happen and you take offense or don't know how to feel about something, because in America this means that, because you're not in America.
And understand that because you are American, whether you're black or not, it comes with certain privileges when you go abroad. Travel ethically, be a good person wherever you go, and y'all just remember, life is an adventure. And that's it. That's all reaching to my got for y'all. Have a good day. We hope this was helpful, and if you have any more questions, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and we will try to answer them in the next video for you guys. Peace to you.